Good afternoon guys, this is Dr. Cool Autofix. In today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to test your coolant temperature sensor. I've given a thorough knowledge about this guy, what the ECM does with it. Now let's verify exactly what the ECM does with it. What is the kind of information or gossip that it tells the ECM, and that is what we're about to find out today. Okay, if you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel as a way to support me, and that's if you're coming to my channel for the first time, right? And if you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome back. All right, so subscribe and turn on your notifications so you keep you constantly updated on tips on how to fix your car. So in the previous video, I have actually taught in my channel on how to be able to test coolant temperature sensor using a simple digital multimeter. So in this section here, if you haven't watched that, you can go ahead and watch it. But in this very other section here, I'm not going to be using a digital multimeter to actually test the coolant temperature sensor. Okay, before we go further, I want to say that I'm not going to guarantee that this testing of coolant temperature sensor without using digital multimeter is going to work on every car make and model, right? So you want to test this out for yourself and see if it works. But for most European models, I have tested them this way for a long time, and I've been keeping the secret to myself, and they pretty much work. So, but for most Asian model, I haven't actually tested. So the first thing first here is to open your hood, then and locate where your coolant temperature sensor is. And the best one you're going to be using to run this test, which is actually good one here, is going to be actually testing both the fan and testing if the coolant sensor is bad. So you want to be locating the coolant temperature sensor that is at the upper hose of the radiator. Like here, the location where I'm pointing my hand now is where the upper coolant temperature sensor that is on the upper hose of the radiator is. So inside the coolant circuitry. So what I want to do here, which you want to do, is to unclip the coolant temperature sensor and remove the socket and keep it aside, right? So after keeping it aside, so after unplugging it, the next thing you want to do is to go ahead and start up the car. So I'm cranking up the car right now and let the car start up. So when the car start up, forget about okay, the car has finally started up. It's stalled initially. Now when you started the car, there is no need for you to plug in. The multimeter is not needed here. What you want to observe here is, does the fan kick into full duty cycle? You can see this fan as you kick on right now. Temperature switch right there. So that's another way to test if it is in good condition. And here, okay, the fan kicking on into full duty cycle right there, it means that the ECU is completely aware that there is absence of the coolant temperature sensor right there. And in order to provide a countermeasure to avoid any engine catastrophic failure, it ons the fan automatically, so it's gonna keep cooling the engine, and that is what I call another open loop sequence. But if suppose the fan didn't kick on into full duty cycle, now I've removed the pin, you need to reconnect it back, and as soon as you reconnect it back, the fan should come back to normal. That means that coolant temperature sensor is good. So other things also you need to look at is that you're supposed to be having a check engine light if your ECU is doing as it's supposed to. But here, my own cluster is having problems, so it's not showing a check engine light, so I need to replace it. So subscribe to my channel. This is going to be the end of the testing of this coolant temperature sensor without any tube.